Sonic Heroes is the last AAA mainline Sonic game I had left to play. As the gigantic Sonic fan that I am, I've waited 7 years of my life to get my hands on this game. No matter where I looked, it just wasn't available, which led me to only recently learning how to emulate it, and I'm glad I finally got to play it. I'm saying all of this because I want to make something clear. I wanted to love Sonic Heroes. I wanted to leave this series in a high note, to finally discover a gem in a series I already love. But instead, and to my incredible disappointment, I found what I believe to be a pretty bad game. Sonic Heroes is convoluted, incredibly glitchy, unpolished, a lot of times uninspired and downright lazy. It pains me to say these things more than it pains someone who loves Sonic Heroes to hear them, but that's just how I feel. However, that criticism is honestly really easy to point out. There's nothing controversial about mentioning the amount of recycled stages, the fact that the game is artificially extended with campaigns, or how Casino Park just doesn't work. That's why, for today, I want to focus on a more elaborate aspect that just hurts me in so many levels. The game design is just kinda boring. I'll explain why. You see how most adventure games have like that one cool mechanic that stretches through the entire game? You know, the Werehog, the Wisps, Flood in Mario Sunshine, Cap in Odyssey, you know the drill. I'm of the belief that no matter how weird a mechanic may look like, as long as it's made to its best use, it's acceptable. Sonic Heroes has a really complex team mechanic in which you control 3 different characters with different abilities at once, and the reason why I don't think it works is precisely because the game does nothing interesting with it. A mechanic should open possibilities to players, make them say, "Wow, I can do that in this game? Awesome!" Like how the Wisps allow you to traverse levels in frankly thrilling ways, or how the gravity in Mario Galaxy allows you to jump in crazily shaped platforms. Sonic Heroes' mechanics don't allow for that. You're not given more options by having a flying power and speed character, you're only given mandatory missions with them. Sonic's fast and exciting gameplay is the only time you feel like you're allowed to have fun. Using Tails to clear tight jumps doesn't feel like a nice expansion to your arsenal, it feels like a roadblock. Clearing it isn't entertaining, it's just busy work. Punching enemies as Knuckles isn't something you want to do in the game. Most of the time you just want to get done with it. And if it wasn't enough, the game has the audacity to introduce gimmicks whose only challenge is swapping characters. You see fans, swap to Knuckles. You see poles, swap to Sonic. That's it. Do the fans allow for anything interesting to happen in the level? No, they just exist to give the power character more of a purpose. Or what about these poles? Is there any challenge in pressing a button mid-air and watching a scripted sequence with no input? No, not at all. And yet, you have to do it over and over and over again. The team mechanic isn't made to create exciting levels and possibilities, but rather the level is made less exciting and more restrictive to justify the existence of the gimmick. A problem that arises from this lack of nuance in the mechanic is the lack of evolution. Every good mechanic rises in complexity more and more each time it's presented, requiring more player ability as well as creating new fun situations that mix things up. However, since the abilities of each character are as basic as I've mentioned, you're stuck dealing with the same exact poles, fans, and flippable turtles with no variation or challenge for hours upon hours. And this really extends beyond the team mechanic. Sometimes the game asks you to pull a handle, or touch a switch to open a door. Is there any complexity in doing any of that? It's just an arbitrary way of padding stages, and it's as easy as it was to do the first time as it was the last. The only way the game gets harder on every level is by creating more enemies with more health points and having more death pits. And considering how piss poor the combat and knockback in this game are, I'd say I prefer a different approach. The mechanic of Sonic Heroes just isn't given a good treatment, which resulted in, despite all of my best wishes, a really boring game. That's all I can say about that. This video was a bit short simply because I wanted to focus on a small aspect of the game. There are more than enough great, lengthy reviews out there for your appetite, but I hope my little rant was of your taste. Thanks for watching.